Hey friend, hey, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Jasmine. I am so glad to have you here, and especially today because I am doing something brand new, starting a brand new segment on my channel, yay, that I am calling Kitchen Table Talk. So what is Kitchen Table Talk, you may wonder, and you may ask, or you may not, but Kitchen Table Talk is basically, it's just a heart-to-heart conversation that I would, if you was over my house, friend, we would probably have these type of conversations. You know what I mean? So it's just a way for you guys to get to know me and vice versa. I get to know you, and we just have these conversations, or I just share what's on my heart, or just share, you know, what's going on in my life, in my kitchen, in my, I don't know, in my journey of life. And here we are, Kitchen Table Talk. So this is technically episode 1. So today I really wanted to talk about, well, before we get into that, okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you noticed, did you guys notice that I changed my channel name? I changed my channel name from At Home with Jasmine E to Heart and Home with Jasmine. And it's really not, it's not a reason, well, it's a reason, but there's no deep reason as to why we went on and changed the channel name. But basically it's just really a business, from a business standpoint. It's just thinking about this collectively, like in the future, and you know, business plans and things that we want to do. And I just felt like it would be best to do a little bit more of a cleaner name. And so yeah, with Heart, what is the channel called? Heart and Home with Jasmine. I feel like that one really defines who I am. Like anybody, most people, I would say most people who know me personally and who have been around me on some type of personal level, or who have experienced me, will tell you, like, Jasmine, she loves much from her heart. She gives 110%. And yeah, I feel like that just really, Heart and Home really just defines me. It's how I love. I want to love people just from my heart and make it feel like a place of home. But yeah, Heart and Home with Jasmine, I think that's just me. I'm me. A little bit about me, for those of you who may not know, it's like I am definitely a fun loving woman. You guys know already, I love to cook. I love my family. I just always wanted this like sense of home. I just always wanted this, like, have the family and have the children and have, like, you know, these like amazing dinners. And I just wanted a place that just felt safe. And it's not that I didn't have that, but I wanted to be able to, that's always been my dream, is to create, you know, my own thing. My own sense of home, and just wanted people to come over to my house and just feel loved, and you know, and feel safe and feel at peace, which people do come over and be like I feel at peace, and literally will fall asleep. Like, I love that. I love when people just come over and it's just like you be talking and then they be knocked out, and it's like, what? But to me, that's like the biggest compliment, because it's like I've created a place of peace, and I thank God for that, because it's not of my own strength and my own ability, but it's just like I'm thankful that people have a place where they feel safe, that people can, you know, if they're hungry, and you know, I got something for you, you know, physically, spiritually, what you need, boo, I got you. And so that's in a nutshell who I am. Military child, grew up in the military, and have lived a few different places, not some fun places as some others or some of my peers, but I'm thankful. You listen, I used to complain I used to complain about being a military child because I always wanted a life where I was just like in one place. I hated that constant change and everything. And it wasn't until like I moved to New Mexico, and I remember I went to high school here, and I went to school, and in one of the classes they talked about like who has been where. It's probably a geography class, I don't know, history. And I remember this kid in the class, and this is not me picking fun, but and he was like, they was like, have you been outside of the city? So the class just like, or have you been outside of the state? And it was just like a few people who have, and when they shared their experience, and I was able to share my experience of places that I had lived. But I remember it was this one kid that just really stuck out to me, and he had his hand raised, and the lady asked like, where have you been? And he only said like the next city over. And I was like, dang, like I couldn't imagine just like, you've only been to like the next city over, like you really haven't explored outside of the state. And not to say I've done some heavy duty traveling, because I haven't, but I'm just like, or at least on my own, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, whoa, I cannot complain. Like I don't want to be, I'm like, God, you know what, forgive me, because it could be worse. Like I could be stuck and just be exploring different places from a textbook, you know what I mean? I'm thankful that I've been able to see the world and go different places and be around different cultures. Like I'm very thankful for that. So I don't complain. I no longer complain about that. But anyways, so yeah, that's a little bit of a nutshell of me. That's, you know, what you see is pretty much what you get. And yeah, so we are talking about the things that have helped me elevate my 2025. And there's been many things I think that I've tried this year, but these 4 things that I'm getting ready to share with you has really transformed and molded me just even stronger, and with more clarity and just more peace and joy. And so I just want to share with you, because maybe it could benefit you. Maybe you may be struggling and just like, I need a little bit of hope. So maybe you can take some of the advice I'm going to share with you and implement it into your life and just see. You know, I think with this list is one piece of advice that I would give to you is just be open. If I look at my list, I think that's my heart posture has been this whole entire year thus far, is being open and just trying it. If it does not work out, oh well, at least I can say I tried it, and you know, it didn't work for me, or it did work for me. But just be open to trying something new. So without further ado, let's get into this list. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk about 4 ways I have elevated my 2025 thus far. These are the changes that I have implemented into my life, and I have noticed a significant change in just in my overall well-being, my mental clarity, just business-wise, family-wise. I'm like, number 1 is Jesus, but then I can get into the list of things that I have implemented into my 2025 that has helped me overall. So let's go ahead and get started and get into that list. So starting with number 1, I think this is going to be this is super cliche, but it is something that something that I've noticed has really transformed my life. And so number 1 is my prayer life. Now let me explain this, okay? Because I've always been a woman who prays, but this year my pastor came to us and was like, hey, we are going to be praying, you know, intentionally at the watch time hours. If you're familiar with like watch time hours and prayers, it's just like basically like 6 o'clock to like 6, 9, 12, 3, 6 p.m. And it repeats, right? And so these are different, like specific times of prayer and engagement with God, engagement with the Spirit that really helps, like, you, number one, you have a relationship, you're able to just have your time with God. It's also a time that if you needed warfare, if you needed to pray with your business, like, there are specific times spiritually in order to do these things. And so although I was doing that in the past, he really wanted to challenge us to really hone in on those nighttime watch time hours. And so at first, y'all, I was like, listen, first I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to be waking up in the middle of the night, you know, praying. But I was just like, I had some things going on personally in my life towards the end of last year that just really kind of rocked my world a little bit, okay, to say the least. But with that being said, I'm just like, what do I have to lose at this point? What do I have to lose? Like, God has been so faithful. Like, I was really more curious as to what being intentional in praying at you know, certain times would do for me, and how it would benefit me overall. And so I began this process the beginning of this year, y'all. And when I tell you, at first it was such a challenge. It was such a challenge to wake up at that time, because anyone who knows me knows, like, I am the girl who, like, religiously, I'm like in the bed at a certain time. I have my shower. I have my whole nighttime routine. I'm in the bed at a certain time. I'm falling asleep, like, okay, like that. But to get up in the middle of the night intentionally to pray, that was gonna be something else, okay? That had to be, that was the Lord. And so I decided, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a try. And it was difficult. It was so challenging to stay up and to pray. And we were only required to pray for 1 hour at a certain hour. So yeah, it was super challenging. But then I began to notice, like, certain fruit. I began to notice just certain things. Like I said, the end of 2024 had some things that were just really, it was a lot personally, a lot weighing on my mind. But I noticed, like, I had so much more peace about situations. Like, I just wasn't stressed out about unnecessary things. I had more focus. I was able to just, like, focus in. It really, like, I'm already a super disciplined person, I believe so, but this just added a whole nother layer where I was just like, okay, I need to be more intentional about my day. I need to be more intentional about my family and business and things of that nature. And yeah, so just being intentional about prayer is, especially at the midnight hour, in those early morning watch time hours, y'all, it really has transformed my life and transformed just my well-being. Okay, I will say over time, probably about March, my body just finally adjusted to where I am able to function. Like, I don't feel the fatigue. I don't feel the I don't feel that fatigue. Like, I'm able to function and not feel like a zombie throughout the day. But overall, it really has, like, elevated just my peace and joy. Like, it's so crazy, because when we were introduced to do this routine by my pastor, he was like, needs to be a year that you have to be intentional about your prayer, and you have to be intentional with God, because the spiritual world and those dark forces, they're going to come after you. They're going to come after your mentality. They're going to come after, you know, they're going to try to attack you in every way possible. And it's like, I see some of my peers who are also, you know, believers and children of God, who have, like, not been so intentional about their walk with God, and have not stepped up their routine of how they meet with God in this season. And I see how it has weighed on them. But I'm so thankful that I was obedient. Like, to the instruction that my pastor gave me, because when I look at my life and I look at theirs, and it's not to be like, you know, comparing apples to oranges, but you know, listen, the truth is what it is, boo. It's like, I think, like, I literally thank God. Like, I just remember, like, even seeing on social media some of my peers that was saying, like, I'm really having a hard time. I haven't been in the Word. Like, I haven't been studying my Bible like I'm used to doing, and da-da-da. And they were just saying how much it has affected them. And I'm like, Lord, I'm just so thankful that I've been diligent in seeking you. And I know me seeking God in prayer is also not just benefiting me, but it benefits my whole entire family. So it's a sacrifice for sure. But what I have gained, the closeness that I've received from God, the knowledge that I receive from God, the strategy that I'm able to use in my business, in my family, etc. It has come by me having a genuine heart, wanting to spend time with God. It's like one of my favorite parts of the day. It's just like getting up and just having quiet time. There's no destruction. There's no disruptions. It's just him and I. And so I love that part of the day. Definitely was a sacrifice, but it has been so point number 2 that has elevated my 2025. And you guys are probably more familiar with this because this is something that I share with you all often, and that is trying new recipes. I said in like this was like a personal goal for myself, that I wanted to try new recipes. I wanted to try new techniques in the kitchen. And so, y'all, I just got tired of making the same old things. And I decided, hey, I want to start collecting cookbooks. I want to start making recipes that are not just on TikTok. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But I just wanted something a little bit more solid, because if these apps do go away, I have something that I have created. I'm creating my own little binder of recipes, right? So I've been trying new recipes, and you guys have been on the process with me. I share with you, and I even do reviews, which more are coming up soon. Bear with me. And I've been loving it. It's really opened up my palette, if you would, to trying new flavors, trying things that I may have been like, I'm not sure if I would actually enjoy this recipe. But it's like, some recipes I've learned, you just have to really give things a try. You have to give things a try. And a lot of the recipes like that I've been trying lately, it's not like heavily spiced or something, or you know, heavily spiced recipes. They use a lot of aromatics, which I've fallen in love with. Like, I used to be like such a spice girl, if you would, and like heavy with the seasonings and stuff like that. But I say be open to trying new recipes and trying new flavors that may be a little bit different. You never know how you may like it. And even if you just like the technique, you know what I mean, or the marinade, and you say, maybe I can switch this up. I think just me being open to saying, hey, I want to try something new, has really, it's elevated. All these things have elevated my 2025. My family, we have fun just trying new recipes, and we come together like at the end of the meal. We have our notes, and like, I like this, I would do this differently, and it's just so much fun. It's a way to just gather together. And whether you have a family, or you just have like friends that you're hanging out with, I would highly suggest just try something new. Just be open-minded to trying something new. And I think for me, when I look at my list, that's something that I would say. It's just like I'm being open-minded. 3 techniques that have elevated my 2025. It is being intentional with my hobbies and making sure that I'm pouring back into myself. This was something that really I had to learn from, I feel like from like ground zero. Back in like 2021, I'm very huge on like therapy and getting like mentorship and help like that. That's gonna help me grow into the woman that I am desiring to be. in you know, that current season. So I'm huge on therapy, but I bring that up because back in 2021 I was, you know, seeing my therapist, and I was really just like, y'all, I was so burnt out, and a lot of my burnout was coming from the job that I had at the time, and just in some other things that I had going on at the time. And one thing that my therapist had to teach me was like, Jasmine, you have to be intentional and even selfish with your self-care time. Like, you have to fill up your cup, and you may need a little bit more, because at the time I worked heavily in the public, and it was a lot. Y'all, it was a lot. Like, I look back, I'm like, how the heck was I even showing up like that? Because I do way more self-care now than I did back then. Like, I was barely doing it then. And so but it weighed. Like, I had to learn what I like what hobbies do I like. I had to find hobbies that I had to rediscover hobbies. But I haven't learned, like, even if I take 5 minutes to pour into myself at the end of the night, it helps. Okay. It helps so much. So finding hobbies that really work for me, and it does not have to be something that's so like extravagant, you know what I mean? For me at the time when I was learning this process, I was like, oh yeah, my hobby is shopping. Okay, but when times hit hard on the boulevard, baby, you can't always shop. So then what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And so I had to find hobbies that I like. So I'm gonna name just like a few that I've been loving thus far. So kind of like some grandma hobbies, if you would. One is word search. Y'all, I have been loving doing just a word search puzzle. It is just like so relaxing. You put on some music or you put on an audiobook, and I just go to town. Like, I literally just go to town. It's one of those things that I can take with me if I'm going to be at an appointment, if I'm going to be out and about. I could just grab one. And I love the little puzzles that are like the smaller puzzles that I can just throw in my bag and I could just go. And that has been one of my favorites. I don't like crosswords because that just takes a lot of brain power. And if I am like doing this, I do a lot of my self-care like at the end of the night. So at that time, baby, I'm not trying to think about a 6-letter word that's gonna fit across the board. Like, no, get somebody else to do it. So word searches are my go-to. The next thing that I have been loving this year is painting and painting techniques. So I'm an extremely creative person. I love anything artistic. Y'all already know I love to cook, but there are times I don't want to cook. I don't want to cook, and I want to do something that will allow me to be creative, but in a different way. So I do paint. I will draw at times. I will color, all that good stuff. But I've been learning new techniques as far as painting goes. I've really been into impressionism painting, because one thing about me is that I learned is that and even more so with drawing, is that I think my frustration with art can be, it's like I'm trying to make it perfect, right? And so what I like about impressionism art is that it's not perfect. It's just an impression, right? It's just, this is supposed to be a flower. It's not perfect. The petals are not super defined, and I love that. And there's some amazing artists that are on YouTube that you can look up their tutorials and just kind of follow along. And that's what I do a lot of times, especially when I'm learning like a new technique, such as like painting flowers. But yeah, painting has been my jam lately. I haven't done it in a while, like probably about a month or so, but I need to get back into that. Another thing that I do like is reading. Now, I'm very much an audiobook girly because I like to put an audiobook on and just like going about my day. I listen to it when I'm driving. I'm listening to it when I'm doing the dishes. I listen to it when I'm cooking sometimes. I listen to it when I'm working out. Like, I love to just like do multiple things at one time, but I have noticed like there are times I just want to slow down, and so I will read a book. Reading books physically really helps slow my brain all the way down. And I can appreciate it, you know, reading. I love a good audiobook. I love, like, specifically, one of my favorite narrators is Julia Whelan. Like, anything Julia Whelan, I'm listening to, because she just has this way of narrating the book that just makes it come to life like no other. I have not found another narrator that I love in that way. And listen, all the voices, like, there are other narrators that I do like, and when I like when they do like the male voice or the female voice, but I need them, it needs to be just like an overall great experience. And I feel like for me, she is that narrator for me. And yeah, but reading physically books, I haven't read a whole lot this year. The front of my year was like so, y'all, it was so busy. But I'm hoping that this spring and summer that I'm able to get a little bit more books in. Okay, the next thing, y'all, so again, being open and trying new things. And I really just want to, I just want to try things new. I just want to be around new people. And so doing things like craft classes in your area, like, I would really love to do clay. I haven't done pottery. I haven't done pottery since high school. And let me tell you, that little wheel, that thing is hard. So I would love, if there's a pottery class that's near me, I'm definitely going to give that one a try, because I love a challenge. And I've been seeing the girlies on TikTok and IG making their beautiful pottery, and I want to give it a go. So I will be looking for some craft classes. I did do a gardening class like not too long ago about how to establish like a garden bed, and even though I have some basics, I just want to learn. And it's just like being around new people and just learning their wisdom and just having conversation. Those things, these are the things that I want in my 2025, just to elevate who I am, who I'm around, just have a new experience. Another new thing, new hobby that I've added into my list is bird watching. Now, listen, if anyone who's watching that knows me knows, I'm okay. I will say it like this. I appreciate animals. I love the beauty of animals, but I'm not always the biggest like animal person. Like, I don't have pets. I would probably keep it like that, but you know, my family, I know they want pets, and we've talked about this, and so that's the reason why I would have pets, okay? Because of my family. But as for me, myself, and she would not have any pets. But nevertheless, bird watching is a new hobby that I've picked up. You guys, I used to be so like terrified of birds, and I went through like this sounds so funny and just seems like so extreme, but honestly, like, it was so necessary. It was so necessary. I went through like a healing and deliverance, and like a few years ago, and somehow, some way, like, birds came up. I couldn't tell you how it came up. A friend, it came up, and we did a whole like, let's pull it out from the roots situation, which I inherited I'm not gonna say it's not my fear. I inherited the fear of birds from my mom, okay? And so I just never liked birds. But at the same, like, I think it was like around the same time, I remember like I had this one mentor that would have meetings with us like in the mornings, and that mentor stayed like far away. And so we have these like meetings, these calls every morning, or you know, every so often, and I always noticed how beautiful the birds sound, and I was just like, I really love hearing the birds in the morning, and it just was so peaceful to me. Fast forward, I went through the healing and deliverance, and from that point on, I stopped being afraid of birds. I stopped being afraid of birds. Like, God, like, it seems something so small and something so mundane, but like, God literally delivered me from that. from him here. And so, I mean, you know, I like to spend a lot of time outdoors. I like, hello, we're just talking about gardening classes. I love to garden and do those things. And so birds, I'm gonna be around them, friend. I'm gonna be around them. But anyways, recently I've been doing a lot of bird watching because I was introduced to this app here on YouTube through this influencer or content creator that I watch. Her name is Cozy K, and she recommended this app. It's called the Merlin app, and it detects when you log into the app and you create an account, log into the app, it kind of sets your location of where you're at, and you just let it record, and it's able to pick up like the sound of each bird and identify which bird is which. And then you can tell if the bird is singing, if the bird is you know, doing a call to other birds, like. And I've been doing that so much that now, like, I can go outside and I'm like, oh, that's a sparrow, that's a house finch. Like, I'm able to recognize the sounds of the birds in my family. My family, like, I was around my sister not too long ago and I was like, oh, this is whatever bird. And she's just looking at me like, girl, like, what? And I'm like, I'm able to recognize the sounds now. So I just find it interesting, and I think it's fun. It's just something new that I would never think that I would get into, but I have really been enjoying it. I do want to do like one of those like bird watching classes before it gets too hot in New Mexico, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. Talking about being intentional with your hobbies, and this one I put like learning a new skill, like be open to learn a new skill. And I'm always up for a challenge. Like, I'm always up to learning something new, even if it's something that I already know, like a new technique that I can add into my reservoir of skills. So one thing that I have done more recently is I really love to crochet, and I had over the last couple of years have really gotten into it. In my business, my like more creative business, I was making jewelry, like making earrings out of clay, and I was doing these like crochet blankets and things of that nature. And so I picked up some new techniques, but over the last several years. But the one technique that I love that I didn't think I would, I didn't know, I felt very intimidated by it, and that was crochet. And it's a crochet technique, and it is mosaic crochet. Well, that one, what I do love about it is that it goes like row by row. Like, you don't have to worry about turning your project. It's just like you work one row at a time, if those who are familiar with crochet. And I love that. I have a big Christmas blanket, like a big kind of more oversized throw blanket that I still need to finish. I just never got around to, I never get around to finishing my own like holiday projects. So that's something that I'm going to be working on this spring and summer, so that I can have my blankets to use for the holiday season. So trying something like a new technique, right? I also have been into embroidery, and definitely want to get into needlepoint, which is like a combination of like cross stitch and embroidery a little bit. Things like that I love. It's something I can have it stacked. Like, I can put an audiobook on, I can put music on, or I can put like even a sermon or a teaching on, and I can just go to town like with my word search, with my crochet, with my embroidery, and I just have a good old time with my granny hobbies. So be open, you guys, to just trying something new. It may not be your thing, and you have to give it some time. You have to give it some time as well. It's just to see, you know, do you like it? Sometimes it's the people that you're around. Maybe you need, you know, sometimes it can be the people that you're around that can bring it down. It's like, oh, I don't think I really like that, but give it a try. Try it by yourself, try it with friends, and just see, you know. I would challenge you to do something that is off of TV screens if possible, that is off your phone, off your computer, and just get back into the world and have fun. Moving on to number 4 that have elevated my 2025, and this one is more, it's definitely more spiritually based. Okay, your girl's a believer of Jesus Christ, so Jesus is going to make his way on these lists. So this one is really, this is really a new revelation for me, but it's something that has really begun to just shape my world, and it's something that I've noticed a complete difference in. That is, I'm calling it seed time and harvest. Okay, and let me explain what I mean by that. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says, like, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall be. Like, it's always going to be a thing. And like I said, so this is kind of stacked onto point number one of like my prayer and like being intentional with prayer, but specifically at night. And so when I'm seeking God at night and I'm speaking to him about certain matters in my heart and things that are going on in my life, you know, I'm always really curious to, you know, not necessarily like, when is this going to happen? Like, I want to know like the root. Like, is there a root? Like, one thing that I'm more so searching on is, what is the root issue? Is there a root issue to certain things? You know, if I'm dealing with the matters of my heart, you know, if my heart is feeling really achy, I want to know, not, you know, I don't want to be so surface level, like, God, just give me comfort. I want to know, like, when did this thing start? Where did it take place? Is this a pattern that's been in my family? And something that I teach through the Proverbs 31 little mini series that's on my channel is like, you have to be diligent in seeking the matter, because you have to know if this is something that you need to like learn a new skill, learn something new, heal and learn something new, or is this like somebody actually doing something against you, coming against you spiritually? Like, that is something that's not often talked about in the church, like the more spiritual matters in warfare and like people rising against you, and you know, like demonic altars and witches and warlocks. Like, there is that pattern of that, but people don't really talk about it from also a godly perspective. And so anyways, during my prayer time, I'm always seeking God for, you know, advice, and just I just want to know better so that I can help others, basically. And so I had something come up. I won't go into details, but I just really wanted, I really wanted to understand, you know, there was something that I had just been waiting for in a certain time frame, and I'm just like, God, you know, I just thought these things would happen by now, X, Y, and Z, and it's just like, why am I not seeing the fruit of my harvest? And the Lord began to minister to me and just, you know, let me know, like, Jasmine, your heart posture is not ready to receive the thing that you're asking for. And I'm like, but I think I am. You know? I'm like telling God, no, I think that I am ready. But I'm like, okay, well, help me to understand, help me to see things in the way that you're seeing them, so that I can better, you know, I can adjust myself. And so what the Lord really showed me was like, I am the supplier of your need. The word of God says, I am the supplier of your need. That being said, the earth, God responds to our need. And so it's not that God won't send the answers, just like my heart wasn't postured to receive it, because my heart was not in a place of need. My heart was in a place of desperation. And God in the Holy Spirit taught me, was like, I cannot respond to your desperation. I supply to your need. Really, I was like, wait a minute. You know, so I was like meditating on that, and I just really was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, God, show me examples, like show me examples where I was desperate for something versus a time where I was like, I truly believe, like, God, I let it go, I let the situation go, and I truly believe that you were going to supply my need. And God began to give me these examples, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, you know, I see what you're talking about. And here's the thing, because I don't want nobody to twist or misunderstand me and say that God won't respond to you if you have like an emergency, dire situation. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that just in the day-to-day, if I need revelation on something, I can't be like like so desperate for a response that I'm maybe missing God because he's speaking in the stillness. Because I'm so desperate in a way to think that he's going to speak to me the way that he did before, or speak to me through this person, or through this teaching. It's just like I have to be open. I think that's the one thing that's been like kind of repetitive on these lists, is just be open to change and doing something different that you've never done before. But I digress. It's so, I couldn't be so desperate, because in my desperation, it's just like the answer, it could be coming to me and I'm missing it. The answer could miss me, because, you know, I had to just like realize it's just like God he is the supplier of my need. And so I had to take that time, you know, when I find myself in a place of where I'm praying for something, I believe in God for something. I mean, even as something, and I don't always mean like a physical car, house, this, that, like money. Like sometimes it's just wisdom, sometimes it's just clarity, sometimes it's just joy, it's peace. But it's like I can't be so desperate and so idolizing the final results that I'm missing the lessons along the way, because my heart, number one, has not trusted God that he would do what he says that he's going to do in the timing that he says he's going to do it. And then number two, my posture is just not in the place of need. Need to me looks like, when I say need, it just looks like rest, and it just looks like trust. And it's just like when I finally relax and allow myself to get back to that place of rest, that's when I really begin to see results. That's when I really begin to see the answers just like flow. And when I don't see answers flow, I really begin to search the matter, and I'm like, okay, is this a situation where I just need to be patient and wait? Or have I moved to a place of desperation that God cannot answer me? So seed time and harvest, and just making sure that my heart is postured to receive what it is that I'm waiting for. You know, whether it's relationship with people, whether it's the connection in my business, is my heart and my body posture, my spirit posture ready to receive the harvest that I'm planting into the earth? The one thing that the Holy Spirit, he always reminds me, the earth does not respond to desperation. So make sure that what you're putting out, even just your mental being, your being, is coming from a place that is receptive. Because when you're in a place of receptive, then the answers can flow to you. But when you're in a place of desperation, you're going to miss it every time. And so that really, when we talk about elevating my 2025, that has really just like opened up my eyes and understanding to a deeper dimension of God that I'm so thankful to receive that with. So yeah, you guys, those are my 4 points that have elevated my 2025, from prayer to trying new recipes with my family and friends and loved ones, to trying out new hobbies and skills, and even refining a few of them, to seed time and harvest, and making sure that my body, my heart, my mind, my soul is receptive to receive the things that I want. Because as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest will be. And so if I'm putting out desperation, low quality answers is going to come to me. Desperate times call for some desperate measures, and those things are going to come to me and flow to me. And so making sure that even in your posture, you are putting the right seeds in the earth so that you can receive what it is that you're waiting for. So those are my 2025 thus far points that have really transformed and elevated my 2025. Let me know what have you implemented in your 2025 that has worked for you, that you're seeing, you're like, hey, I am seeing results in this. I don't care if it's a workout that you've tried, meeting new people, if you have a new technique of meeting people, let me know, okay? Maybe we can do like a part 2 later on in a few months. But yeah, I just want to share that with you all. I hope you all enjoy this. If you guys like this kitchen table talk, let me know, and I will be back for another episode. And I can't wait to engage with you all down in the comments down below. Y'all excuse my eyes because your girl is definitely tired. I am definitely sleepy today, but I am pushing through because I need to get this content done. So anyways, I hope you all have an amazing day, whatever day you're watching this, and I will talk to you and see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.